Hi, this is Dr. Peter Bernstein, Peter to most of you who know me, and I'm coming to you during the holiday season, primarily Christmas and Hanukkah. Um, this is always a time of year that in our work for trauma recovery and whatever, pretty complicated time for a lot of people. Um, and as joyous as it's supposed to be, it also brings up an awful lot of pain for people about other holidays in their life and so we're the person that they come to that help them sort it out. So this year though is even more complicated and unsure. There's a lot of uncertainty this year. You know, I'll tell you what I'd really like to. The message I'd like to convey today is gratitude and appreciation. Not the kind that comes just because somebody tells it to you, but the kind that we talk about that comes through going through a lot of struggles and suffering and losses of all kinds. What can come out of that during that grief and that loss and the difficulty is a greater appreciation and a gratitude for the little things in life, the things that really matter, not the big things. And although I like big things too, I'm one of those people that have finally matured enough to come to be very grateful for the littlest things. And it's a message that I want to convey today. Um, it's also the message I'd like to convey is a message of hope, but also of compassion. There are people that are going to enjoy this time of year and have a wonderful time, and I have my moments of that too. And it's a very special time for Christians. It's certainly the birth of Christ. For Jews, it's Hanukkah, and they're recovering the temple from Jewish Maccabee came in and recovered the temple, and these are important times. But yet, and they've made into joyous times. But there's also something else that's going on here, probably more than I've ever seen before, particularly over the last 11 months. And that is, this has been a time of uncertainty, of terrible sickness with the COVID-19 the pandemic, and I think personally of over 280,000 families who've lost their loved ones in the last 11 months. Now, that to me, that's an overwhelming amount of grief and pain that people are going through this year. So many weren't even able to say, families weren't even able to say goodbye to their loved ones because of quarantine and how the medical community had to keep them very separated. It's been a tough year for a lot of people. And my heart is with them, to be honest with you. I think of them. I think of the losses. I think of the pain and the sickness and the fearfulness that people are living with. We're on the front lines. That's what comes through people come to us, speak to us, they feel comfortable about it. And we're the type of people that really do have empathy for it because of our own personal circumstances, just because of who we are. So we do see a lot of it, probably more than most. We live that extraordinary life that we've been talking about. We're on the front lines, as so many others are this year. You got the doctors and the nurses and the paramedics, the firefighters, the cops that have been taking a big beating this last year. It's been an unusually difficult year. Um, I want to ask all of you to think about not just your own losses, not just your own pain and struggle, but even with that going on, to be able to step out of yourselves when you can and begin to show compassion for your fellow man. There are so many people that just in the last week have lost their businesses, have their businesses closed down. So many employees that don't have jobs. This is a terrible time for them. My heart goes out to them too. These are folks that want to work hard and do, and now all of a sudden they don't have jobs, and many don't have businesses. So it's a very difficult time for that. I personally, in my community, want to support my local businesses wherever I can, because business is slow. Um, and but it's something that fulfills me, not just doing it for them, but it's something that comes out of me, and it also makes me feel a little bit better about myself and others. I live for those good moments, and I appreciate them greatly. I want to convey to you today to do that. in spite of how difficult your circumstances have been or could be, try to step out of yourself. One of the greatest things to heal from grief and loss is thinking about others who have it a lot worse than we do and that you do, and to offer them in a sensitive way loving support, what you can do for them with charity. When I say charitability, if you don't have the money, it's of your time and of your heart. If you do have the money, absolutely share it with them because they need it. I look at that as probably being the core of fulfillment during this time of year. And you will have your moments of joy too. And I love those. I love it. I'm surrounded by presents that I have for my grandkids, and that gives me a great deal of joy to give, not just receive. And I hope for you this year, you think about giving, even during your difficult times, and to keep hope, to remember that there is hope, that as hard as things are going to be, have been, and they have been brutally difficult, remember that it's not the end, that there is hope for the future. I just heard on the news that COVID-19 immunizations are starting, and there's some mixed reactions to it. Some people don't want to do it. I'm not one of them, and our staff isn't going to be that way either. We're on the front lines. We're all going to get inoculated. I think that's hopeful. And I heard if enough people in this country step up to these inoculations, I think it needs to be about 75%. It would be enough to stop the spread of this COVID-19. And I think that's very important. So there is hope. There's hope for other things too. Try to keep that in mind, even though we don't know what it looks like yet or what it may be. Keep the faith. Anyway, I want to wish you all a wonderful holiday season, and to think from your heart, and to also receive. I'll tell you, this is also be open to receiving from others that can give you some support and love and caring in various ways. So all my best to you for the holiday season, for Christmas, for Hanukkah. God bless you. And keep us in mind. We'll see you after the first of the year. And remember, keep the hope up, all right? No matter how hard it gets. Their light will come through in the midst of the darkest clouds. Hang in there. All my best. God bless.